This is a video for the chosen ones. This is a video for the chosen ones. I'm going to help you understand life purpose. I've been getting those questions a lot. I want to find my purpose. What am I here to do? And the stuff like that. I'm going to help you understand the events that build up before your purpose will reveal itself to you. Your purpose is a spiritual assignment. So that is what you are here to do, something what you are destined to do. You came here for this particular mission. Whatever the mission is, it is a seed that you're also going to plant, and you are going to impact some people, other people, various individuals in so many different various ways. It could be using your talents, using your gifts, using your skills, but in a way, your purpose will reveal itself to you is something that you're going to add another foundation onto this planet, okay? Other individuals, and help them in different ways. And when I'm talking about your purpose, I'm not talking about your job, okay? I'm not talking about your job. Yes, you have a job, you love the job, you're happy with the job, okay? It pays the bills, and you can get from A to B, point A to B, you can buy your meals. It is nothing to do with that. It is something completely different. So, in the events that will lead towards you finding a purpose, there will be a few things that will happen. The very first thing what will happen, chosen ones, God will first of all send in something what they call a tower moment. You might want to write this down because it's very important, okay? It's going to help you to get enlightened on something they call purpose. You are going to go through some form of a tower moment. That tower moment is going to come in different ways, different shapes and different form, depending on where you are on your journey in life. If it is a meaningless relationship, that tower moment is going to cause you to break up with your partner. It could sometimes come in a way of near-death experience where you may sometimes get hospitalized. You've been going through a certain illness or sickness, and that sickness may be very, very intensive. Okay, so it may be something which might even could get you hospitalized for a couple of days. So I've heard about some people who went through a coma, and then eventually they got out, and that is the very first sign that you're destined for something bigger. When you wake up from the coma, there's a guy named, I've been mentioning this guy many times in my videos. His name is Crocs Saida. So Crocs Saida, he had a car accident. So it was a very serious accident, and this accident pushed him into a coma. I don't necessarily exactly remember how long was this coma, but when he rose up from the coma, he noticed that his life was never the same. So he was never that same person he used to be. Everything about him changed. It's like during the coma, he was going through a very, very huge spiritual transformation. And I think that's when he had a complete ego breakdown. After the coma, that is when he realized what he was here to do, the message he was here to spread. And until now, he's still doing his job. He's still working in his purpose. Purpose can also start from, it can also begin with an ending of something. It can be an ending of a job. Maybe you've been holding on to that job for quite a long period of time, years. You've been married to that job. Or maybe you might see like you could have opened up a business, but that business was built from the ego. Okay, it could have been built from the ego because you thought that, oh, so and so is doing this, so you're also going to jump in and do that. But what you didn't actually understand is that you were destined for something different. You wasn't supposed to do and follow behind other people and see what they're doing and do the same thing. So it could be a business that you could have opened up, and immediately what happened is that this tower moment made you lose that business, and you could have invested a lot of money in that business, and for some reason it didn't take off, and you lost the business. There can be different scenarios we can talk about, but all these scenarios are going to lead to something they call a tower moment. If you ask me, I will tell you it is going to be one of the hardest moments in your life. It can be also an ending of a relationship. Okay, it has been a very long-term relationship, cycles and cycles of abuse, cycles and cycles of narcissists, cycles and cycles of psychopaths, every form of toxic, evil people. You have been going through these cycles, and then for some reason, what happens is that it feels like this thing is keeps on sliding downwards. Let me, guys, sponsor me to buy a new one. Okay, you don't have to. I'm joking, but if you want, so that relationship comes to the end. And it is also going to be one of the most painful moments in your life. So you are still going to have an ego breakdown, okay? You're going to fall out with your ego. And basically, what happens when you fall out with your ego, the fear goes with the ego, okay? Fear has been also related to the ego, to your ego self. Now it's like you're no longer fearful of anything. It's like you're just going to get out there and make it and make things happen. And you really pretty much not worried. Yes, every now and then you're a human being. You may have your insecurities here and there, but you're going to step out of that fear frequency. So that fear frequency also goes with the ego. I've explained to you guys and I've told you when I was breaking away from a narcissist, I'd spent like years trying to fix this relationship, trying to stay, trying to beg and trying to plead and trying to, everything I was trying, it wasn't working. It's simply because I couldn't understand at the time what it is I was dealing with in that particular moment. Then eventually this tower moment happened. And there was a very massive devaluation stage, and eventually there was a discard, and then the Hoover, and then in the second time I went back in, that is exactly when I experienced another tower moment, which actually woke me up. Okay, this is the tower moment that exactly woke me up to a degree I've not seen before. So the ego collapsed, the fear left with the ego, and I was able for the very first time to step away. Okay, and I was able to say, okay, this is it. It has been a lot of manipulation and whatever going on. I couldn't get what was happening. I was like, it's the end of it, and I'm gonna get out of this, whatever, meaningless, useless relationship. So I stepped out. For the very first time, I chose me. I chose myself. It can be also a situation where you may lose a loved one. Let me say, you may have had this person you love. It could be a family member, it could be a workmate, it could be a friend, it could be a relative, it could be anybody. You dearly love this person. And for some reason, this person passed away. So when this person passes away, let's say you used to stay with your grandmother or used to stay with your father or your grandfather, whatever, this person passes away. When this person passes away, it's like something happens to your soul. And you have something like an ego breakdown, whereby you feel like something of you, there's a part of you that has died. Okay? It will be very difficult to explain it because this is something spiritual happening. But you feel like something inside of you has died and you are kind of like stepping out of that bubble that you have lived for quite a good number of years. Now, during those moments, what happens is that God now shows you certain people. So something happens to your spiritual eyes. Okay? These are the 3D eyes, the ones you can, you see everything, what is happening around you. But now you have these spiritual eyes. It is like you're starting to look through the illusion. And you're starting to see the people for who they are and what they are. and you're accepting it. You're understanding that, okay, so this is who they are. They are no longer serving your highest good. You have no business with them. You have nothing to do with them. And what is really happening is that God is now showing you some of the things they have been doing behind the scenes, the plans they have been plotting against you, the things they've been doing behind your back. So God now starts to show you certain individuals. And the reason why God is showing you these things, because this is like you're looking in the spirit, you're looking inside the spirit world to understand what was happening behind the scenes with the people that you have been involved with over time, family members and friends, relationships, partners, wives and husbands. So you start to see these people. Now, when these people have been shown to you, what is really going to happen is your next step is going to be extracting yourself. Okay, so you're going to start removing yourself from these people. And sometimes it is also going to be another very difficult experience because you're starting to detach from the people that was a part of your ego self. You was clinging on to these people. They wasn't good for you, but you was clinging on to them. You wanted them to be around you. You wanted them to move with you. So you remove yourself from these people because now you can see who they are. Now, in that particular moment, you go through a phase of isolation. Now, the isolation is also going to be another painful moment. So when I'm talking about this thing of being chosen, is sometimes people maybe get it twisted a little bit. They don't understand what is going on, where I'm coming from. So you get isolated from the crowd because you see, you're now starting to see the metrics, how the metrics operates, what people do, what they do this, and you don't even, sometimes some of the things you don't even understand, but now you're starting to understand what people do and why they do certain things. And now you get away from these individuals and then you go through a very long phase of isolation. So that isolation, nobody knows how long it can be. Everybody's situation can be different. You may be isolated for 6 months. Some people may be isolated for 1 year. Some people could be isolated for 2 years. Even sometimes can be more. So you're going to go through a very long phase of isolation. So during that isolation, it's like you no longer have any friends around you. You don't have a lot of people around you. The people that used to hang out with you, all of them have gone. You have eliminated yourself out of their lives. So no family members, people are no longer calling you, nobody's visiting. So you go through a very silent process. It's a very lonely phase as well during that isolation moment. Now, basically what is happening spiritually is that God is now pushing you in a certain corner to start healing yourself. Okay, you need to start understanding the things and the events that have really transpired all along the journey so that now you can be able to sit down with yourself. Okay, no interruptions, nobody's supposed to intercept your journey. And now you're going within to look at yourself. Okay, you're doing a lot of self-introspection. You're looking inside of you. What did you mess up? How did you do wrong? What are the things that used to hold you back? What it is you need to change, and the things like that. So you're becoming aware of your general life experiences and why things happen, what were they, and why were they happening, the people around you, and stuff like that. So you're in the isolation phase where there's nobody around you. It's a very quiet moment. It's very lonely. Sometimes you will get very lonely. You're longing for hanging out with people. You're longing to go out there, meet people and stuff like that. You're longing for intimacy. And it feels like there's nothing is going on. So basically what is happening is that behind the scenes, the universe is pushing you in a corner so that you can be able to look at yourself, inside of yourself, to understand that your purpose is bigger than your lifestyle you've been living way back in time. So it's time for you to now look inside of you, take some time to meditate, take some time to pray, take some time to do healing work, take some time to do code cutting, take some time to do everything that you can to make sure that you get out of lower states of consciousness and you can be able to raise your vibration. Because I've told you guys in my videos that your purpose lies in your spiritual self. It's a spiritual assignment, so it lies actually in your higher self. So for you to be able to meet your purpose, you need to rise up from the 3D and move upwards so that you can meet your spiritual self, your authentic self. That is exactly where you're going to be able to find your purpose lies in there. Your purpose is not connected to the ego. Your purpose is a much more spiritual thing that is connected to your spiritual self. So you need to be able to get out of that dense energy rise up in frequency. And now that's where you're going to start getting these downloads. The ideas are coming in. So normally these things coming during that stage of isolation whereby you are disconnected from the entire world and you're out there simply doing your own thing out by yourself and stuff like that. Now, somewhere along the journey as well, during that phase, the universe will start showing you the people they call your soul tribe. Your soul tribe is going to come in ways you don't even expect. Those are going to be very strange people. You may not even know them. But you may still feel that they have got this energy, like they want to push you somewhere. They want you to go. Okay, so those people they're going to be placed along your path, because you see your old circles are falling off. You're falling off with your old circles, and now you started to get these people appear in your life. So those people are they are going to be your guides. Those people are going to be able to understand who you are. They will understand what you're doing. They will understand where you're going. They will understand what needs to be done. Sometimes you might even see them pushing you a little bit when you get stuck here and there. They may push you a little bit. Maybe you need a place to stay. You may start running into people who know somebody who knows somebody or who knows somebody, and then eventually you're going to get some place to stay and the things like that. So you're going to be meeting those people. So those people are actually being placed on your path by the universe, because the universe will never awake you and leave you hanging just like there, just out of the blue. You're just there hanging and no help, no aid and stuff like that. If you look very closely, you will see these people. But again, it's very important to have discernment, because the enemy can also send their own people. So you need to know who is who, okay? Who is coming in for the good intentions, as who is coming in with the wrong intentions. So God shows you now these people, that these people, they are going to help you. They can be a little help, a big help, but in any way, you're going to see them putting a hand into your life to move you from one step to another. And then eventually, your purpose will be born. So slowly, step by step, you're going to start getting out of the isolation stage. You're going to start stepping into something new, because during that quiet moment, it's like you've been getting all these downloads, you've been getting all these ideas, you've been thinking about new projects. And now you're slowly starting to step out of the bubble of isolation. So you're putting yourself a little bit out there. Not pretty much out there like you used to back in the days, but you're trying to step into different things. So you may start getting into creation sometimes. You may get ideas of, okay, listen, so and so, let us do this. Have you ever thought about this company? You can actually start your own company. You could have been a cleaner, for example. And that's what you used to do as for work. But eventually you've gone through these phases and these stages, and now you're thinking that, okay, instead of cleaning for the company, why don't I open up my own cleaning company so that I can actually work for myself and be my own boss? So that's where this whole thing starts, whereby you're now starting to get yourself out there and step into radical action and get into some things that you have never done before. And again, I would say this is also a very uncomfortable moment, because not everything is like very clear to you in your face. It's like you don't know all the details, but it's like you have got this faith that you're being guarded and you're being guided and protected to certain directions, and you are starting to move out with faith. Because what I've told you guys is that most of the times people want to figure out everything before it actually manifests. They want to figure out everything very quickly, in a day or two. Purpose isn't born in 24 hours. The people that you see working in purpose, those are the people who have started that work way back in time. They have started those things like years ago. So they have just kept on like moving, putting one step after the other one, and eventually, giving birth to this new creation that they even never knew existed within them or inside of them. If I could share with you my little story. So back in the days, those days of isolation, when I decided to, so those days I just left the greater narcissists. Okay, we had broken up and it was official, no more contacts and stuff like that. The blocking had happened. So those days I had the feeling of, let me do some videos, maybe, I don't know, maybe you never know. There are these things I know, there is stuff that I've learned on this journey. Why don't I now start sharing these things with people? Why don't I start helping and inspiring other people? Many people have been in abuse. There are even some people who are still in abuse. So I was like, maybe by just, sharing my experiences slowly, you never know what could happen. So I wasn't really like I didn't have everything figured out. I was just like trying to step into some things and see what it is I can do, to change something at least. So that's how I took off. I took out my small camera. I started doing my videos one by one. Even they didn't even make any sense. Even sometimes, I was usually shy. I didn't have the proper equipment at the time. There was this small phone I was using, but I was like, okay, I'm going to use this. And who knows what this one will be, what results will come out of this. I just stepped in by faith, ladies and gentlemen. And eventually, one step at a time, the downloads started coming in. I noticed a very great insight into certain things. I would wake up one day, I have like 5 different subjects I want to talk about. There's a day I used to produce even 5 videos a day. Sometimes I used to produce 4 because the downloads were so much that I couldn't ignore them. It was like really straight into my mind that I was like, okay, let me talk about this. So that's how this whole thing started. It was a couple of years ago. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to tell you is that when you're talking about life purpose, you need to be prepared to go through certain experiences, okay? Because purpose is not something that comes to everybody. Some people will usually stay in their state where they are. Some people will rise up and get out of their old states of consciousness. But the ones who will take that move, that leap of faith, are the ones who are going to discover their purpose. And eventually, one day you wake up and you realize there is something that happened to you a couple of years ago, and that is the exact event that changed your life forever and even aligned you into your life purpose to become that person that you came here to do. You came here to be. So let us know what you think about the video, guys. I hope this video has inspired you. For the most of you guys who have been sending me these emails, sometimes I've been seeing the messages. Keep the faith. Understand that it's a process. You're going to have to do some work, of course. You're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to put in the work, okay, both physical, spiritual. You're going to have to get all the energy you need to make sure that you're putting yourself out there, because you see, the universe, I've told you guys, universe is in love with stubborn people. The more stubborn you are, the more doors open up. The more stubborn you are, the more doors open up. So when you try to stay too much in your comfort zone, then you don't have any space for growth. It is until you start getting out of your comfort zone and riding on the stormy waters is when you're going to be able to meet your purpose along that journey. So like I've said, drop us a comment. If you want to book a session or maybe donate or support my channel, there's links you'll see in the comment section below. And until then, I'll catch you guys in my next one. There's Amos signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.